Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Launch Strategies for Leaders, our new LinkedIn live show or live streaming show across all our channels, in fact, where we come to you and share insights and tips on how to really lay the foundation to secure funding and launch significant ventures. So last week we launched this new series where we go into tips and insights on exactly how you can do that. We go live with you every Tuesday and every Thursday. So we have one topic for the week. This week is all about process mapping, and we're going to go into that in a moment. But on Tuesday, we have the first 3 tips, and on the Thursday at 1 p.m., we have the second 3 tips. So one theme each week. And the reason I want to talk to you about process mapping, and for those of you that are joining, tuning in from. If this is your first time joining me live, if you can hear me okay, do let me know. And the reason we're talking to you about this is, or I'm talking to you about this, in fact, is because processes are the difference between building a lifestyle business that, yes, can make you money, but really is just enough for you to have a really good lifestyle yourself, versus building a scalable company. But processes, hi Dean, welcome. So processes are a differentiator. And so when you begin your business, I always recommend from the day that you start your business, have processes. And this doesn't have to be complicated, simply dictating the process in a dictaphone if it's just you, or in an app like Otter, but getting that process out of your head and onto paper. Because if you are ever going to grow and scale a business, if you're ever looking at investment, you're gonna need to have processes. So I want to take it a step further, because in the past, I've just said to you, you know what, you need to have processes. And this week, I really want to drill down a little bit deeper in terms of how you actually do that. How do you go about mapping out your processes? If you are an established business, if you're not just getting out the gate, how do you go from, having processes that aren't fully defined, but kind of work, that are defined but have bottlenecks and aren't quite efficient? How do you go from that point to really refining your processes so that you're really building a well-oiled machine? And this is an area that I'm really passionate about. Those of you that are familiar with me, those of you that are familiar with my work, know that everything that I do is based on the 6 P's. It is the framework for everything we do at the Launch Strategist, and our 5th P is processes, because it's so foundational to the long-term growth of businesses. So let's get into it. Not going to be long with you this afternoon, but I want to give you the first 3 tips. So when you're defining a process, it's really important that you define the destination. So let me give you an example. It's not enough to say, for example, if you want to tighten up your marketing campaign process, it's not enough to say that we want to develop a process for campaign management. You have to put some parameters around this. So you would say, for example, we want a process that allows us to smoothly deliver quarterly marketing campaigns in a, say, 8-week cycle that has the relevant sign-offs along the way, so that we're not breaching any laws, that all the stakeholders are fine. So you have to really first define the process properly. Where is it that you want this process to take you in your organization? Because processes, the point of a process is to get you from A to B. So where is A and B? So it's really important to define the destination. Where do you want that process to take you in the organization? The next thing you need to think about is, who are the stakeholders in the process? Who does the process affect? So for example, for a marketing campaign, it's not sufficient for the marketing department to build out this process in isolation, because there's various stakeholders. It needs to go through legal. It needs to go through accounting to make sure that you have budget sign off. It needs to perhaps go to the CEO to make sure that what's going out for the company is sanctioned. So how do you make sure that your process has the relevant stops but is efficient as possible? Now, what you need to do is, what normally happens is that process is perhaps created in the marketing department, so that when that process is then executed, there are problems because actually marketing hasn't spoken to legal, marketing perhaps hasn't spoken to the finance department. We need to actually fully now speak to the stakeholders to find out what they need to be in that process. So that's where we start. A lot of times we want to start and get to the end. So we just want to quickly put together the quickest route, the quickest journey in the shortest way possible. But we actually have to be speaking to the stakeholders to find out what they actually need in the process. And the third point I'm going to give you is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you already have a process within your business that is working, tweak that. Don't throw that out, tweak that, and work with it. Because often there are reasons why certain things have been put in place. And, if you throw everything out in that process that you already have, then you're going to lose some important bits. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So process mapping can be as simple as complicated as you make it. But 3 simple tips. Number 1 is define the destination properly before you even begin optimizing, changing, developing a new process. Really be clear on where do you want this process to take you, and be specific. So what are the time frames? What sign-offs are required? What are some really important things that you need this process to do? So what is the destination? Speak to the stakeholders, the people that are involved in the process. Sometimes within the marketing department, for example, we think that the process, even though we know it doesn't begin and end with us, sometimes we do not involve those stakeholders enough, whether it be legal, whether it be finance, to make sure there's the relevant stakeholders. And the third point is, if you already have something that's working, even if it's not documented, work with it. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So process is one of those topics that aren't that intriguing, aren't that interesting, but actually they're fundamental if you want to build a business that stands the test of time. If you want to build a business that someone externally can look at and say, you know what, this is a sound kind of business, they have the processes and such in place. It's a really, really important topic, and too often is something that we skip over. So just 3 really simple tips for you today. I'm back with you on Thursday with another 3 tips on processes. Now, if any of this resonates, if you are launching a significant venture within your organization, if you want to strengthen the foundation of your organization so that you can potentially secure funding in order to finance that venture, then do go ahead and contact us, and perhaps even book in a complimentary 15-minute consultation with me. I will put the link to that in the comments below. Any questions, please let me know. I will be sure to answer all of your queries, and I will be back with you at 1 p.m. on Thursday. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye. Thanks, Kelvin. Really appreciate the feedback. Thanks, Dean, everyone that joined live and will be catching the replay. I really appreciate your participation and engagement, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.